Good afternoon and welcome everybody to this amazing, powerful, and educational Lunch and Learn, which is brought to you by family partners of Morris and Sussex counties. Right here, this is your host, Patricia Houston, and with me is Massiel Sanabria. Welcome, Massiel.
Hi everyone, Massiel Sanabria, how are you?
Massiel, thank you very much for being here and also, for approaching us and for the extra effort to explain about your services and the resources that you guys have. So we are very happy to have you here. Thank you very much.
I am very grateful to be here. I thank you, Patricia, for inviting me. I've always learned anytime I join your groups, and this is just an extension of everything that we both do. A lot for our community.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Massiel, let's just start with yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, so I will have an idea. Who is Massiel?
So my name is Massiel Sanabria, and it's a very long title. I'm the bilingual parent liaison for the McKinney-Vento program, which covers 6 counties. So we are a regional program, education for homeless children and youth. We cover the counties of Bergen, Hunterdon, Passaic, Somerset, Sussex, and Warren County. With that, we are partnered with 268 school districts within these counties. And we work every day to provide educational information as to what is the educational system, what is the McKinney-Vento Act, and how families and youth can take advantage of these programs.
Thank you, Massiel, for that information. And now, would you please explain what exactly is a parent liaison? Because I know a lot of people, they don't know.
Okay, so a parent liaison, it's basically a mediator, right? So that's the most basic definition of it. So I work every day to identify homeless children and youth. I ensure that, each of them, each homeless student is enrolled immediately, and they're participating fully in all school activities. I inform the parents or the guardians and the youth on their educational rights. With that, also unaccompanied youth. We support unaccompanied youth with selection of schools and dispute resolution. We also work with community partners, agencies, and programs to just inform, to collaborate, to educate on anything that the children and youth can benefit from. That is a little bit of what I do as a parent liaison.
And thank you very much for clarifying that. So in relation to this program that we discussed previously, which we are going to discuss now, what exactly you guys doing there? Because I know that you mentioned in relation to the program that McKinney-Vento, Education for Homeless Children and Youth Programs. Would you please elaborate in relation to that program? What exactly is that program?
Okay, so the McKinney-Vento is the National Homeless Assistance Act. It is a federal law to ensure immediate enrollment of students in educating stability and for all displaced children and youth. So we are ensuring that all children have access to education. The McKinney-Vento provides federal funding to the state for the purpose of supporting displaced students. So we work, as I said before, with agencies, with organizations, with the schools. So any state educational agency to ensure that students and children who are experiencing homelessness have a stable education years. And we work from preschool. So the ages are 3 through 20 years old. And also we're working on beyond after high school for college. And that is basically what the McKinney-Vento Act is. It's just ensuring that immediate enrollment for any student experiencing homelessness.
Great, great. And I'm glad that you clarified that because that was going to be my next question in relation to who can benefit. So that's great. So for ages from 3 to 20.
3 through 20 is for the
20.
McKinney-Vento. And it's very easy, the eligibility or the homeless definition of McKinney-Vento is very simple. It's any children or individual who lacks a fixed, regular, and adequate nighttime resident. So that's very cut out, very clear as to who can benefit or who can participate in this program, who can be eligible. So any children and youth living in motels, hotels, trailer park, campgrounds. Those are a little bit of, that is not a regular, that wouldn't be a regular nighttime resident. Also, children are considered homeless if they are residing in a hospital or living in shelters. So we have many cases of students or children who are hospitalized, but they still have the right to education. And the last criteria is doubling up, which is something very common, but sometimes misunderstood. It is the sharing of the housing with others who are not family. So we classify those students as homeless also. And that is where we differentiate from the general state or public definition of homelessness. We consider children who or families who are doubling up to be considered homeless.
Thank you, Massiel. And what is the process to get involved with this type of program?
So basically we're a call or an email away. So to get involved is just to call us or to email us. And we do a very quick or basic intake form where we first identify who the student in need is, because this is a federal program for students. So we identify who the student is, where is the family staying at now, what was the last permanent residency. So we need to know where they came from, if they're traveling from outside of state or outside of the district or school, are they crossing counties, whatever the case may be. So we always ask, where are they now and where were they before? What was their last permanent residence? We also ask, what is the situation where they are staying at? Is this something permanent for them? That is, because it could be that a family member took them in and they're permanently there, or is it just temporary that the family told them you could be here for 2 weeks, you could be here for a month, and so you're up in your feet again. So during that time, if they tell them that it's temporary, whatever term they say, that is still considered a homeless family, unless they were to say it is permanent, you can stay here, forever, I'll take care of you, I'll help you. And then the last part, they'll describe what brought them to the homeless situation. So a lot of the calls and emails we received are family crisis referrals, where families might be experiencing homelessness due to domestic violence, fires, financial hardship. Those are the most common, and runaways, because we do work with unaccompanied youth. So that's just a little bit of how you come into our system, basically, or our radar.
Thank you, Massiel. Hey, Massiel, and let's say like if somebody apply for, to get in that program, how long does it take from starting to the end for that person to start receiving services with you guys?
So we immediately receive a call. We do the intake form, which takes about probably 7 minutes, maybe a 10-minute conversation of where we get all the details as to, establish that they are eligible for the program. Mm-hmm. And what we do is identify where the student is receiving their education. And as I mentioned before, there is 268 districts that we work with. With that, each one has a homeless liaison. So a school homeless liaison is also a McKinney-Vento representative. So they have the specific program or services to that community. So what I do in my office, in my regional office, is refer to where do they belong to, who is the person to connect them with in their city or in their community, in their district. And that person then, does the same conversation, ensures that everything that they've told me is as I put it down, and they start connecting them right away to services. So they'll provide them with housing, with food insecurities, with financial, as I said. Most of the school I do might be like supplies. That will be the immediate one. Immediate will be supplies, technology, counseling, and anything, free food for the schools are for the student, and also to take home for the weekend if needed. So we can ensure all of that is in place right away, and then they'll start with connecting them to like social services in that community.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Sure.
And let's go back a little bit in relation to a person. Mm-hmm. Is there any specific process to get involved or to have a parent assigned to a family or to an individual?
So the parent liaison is belongs to the school. They belong to the school, so they're already they might be the nurse or the counselor of the school, or they might be on their own in child study programs. So with that, it's an automatic. They already belong to somebody in a sense. Wherever the school, whatever the student is already attending, they're already anchored. So they belong to a liaison already. What I do have some difficulty sometimes is language barrier, which is my whole thing. I'm here as a bilingual parent liaison because I know that the parents might want to communicate and are not able to because of the language barrier. So my community is Spanish. So this is the other language. This is my first language, Spanish. So I ensure that bilingual parents that only speak Spanish, I am their voice to the school if they don't have somebody. A lot of schools do have somebody. They'll bring a nurse or a counselor who does speak Spanish and does all that speaking for them. But there are cases where school districts do not have a Spanish representative. But we do that for every language. It's not just Spanish. I just happen to be the Spanish one, but there is one for every language. We will try to connect them, and we also use different programs that will provide a translator.
Do you see any other or additional challenges that you can highlight in here in relation to why a family might need a person?
Well, I do know that a lot of families are, especially now with a lot of, well, not now, but always migrant families, right? That they don't know how to navigate the education system. They don't know the right of the student, or they don't know the right of the parent, and they don't know the services that are in their community. So if they are new, we are here to help them navigate through that first. We'll be their first hand. But also for residents, there are new programs that are coming up, weekly, monthly, that they might not know of, that they can benefit from. So one program I want to mention today is the American Rescue Plan. This is a grant that was funded to the state of New Jersey by the Biden administration for $8 million, to help children and youth experiencing homelessness. It's called the American Rescue Plan for Homeless Children and Youth Program. So that funding, then was divided into regions. So we cover a region that covers 6 counties, and we were given a plentiful amount of money, which we divided, which we did a survey to see what the school liaisons saw as the most need for the students and for the community. And one of the top one was identification, right? So just being able to identify somebody who is experiencing homelessness, that child that comes to school with repeated clothing, or that you see that they're not paying attention in class, they might not be eating well. So there's different things that we are working to identify students. First of all, this is a federal law. So it is the federal law to identify, who is in need. And that is, regardless of what their immigration status is. So with that's the American Rescue Plan. We help with outreach and identification, with technology needs, with parent support, counseling. Those are a little bit of everything that we do, and of course, housing. So with the American Rescue Plan, difference between that and McKinney is kind of like American Rescue Plan is an extension to McKinney. So McKinney focuses on the student's need. American Rescue Plan does the whole family. So we with the McKinney, we were a bit limited, but with the ARP, with the American Rescue Plan, we're able to help the whole family come together and be aided in this crisis or in this situation that they are in. And with that, we partner with, programs or agencies in our communities. So there's a lot of organizations, and with that, we cover all of our counties that we were able to fund programs that they already have for the youth, just to push that they are really being identified.
Thank you, Massiel, and let's say like if for those families that might be watching this video at this moment, or perhaps a provider working with a family, if they would like to get in contact with you, how they can get in contact with you?
Sure, my office number is 201-343-6000, extension 6585. Again, that's 201-343-6000, extension 6585. You can always reach us there. Also, my email address is massan@bergen.org. And Patricia, I'll do a quick show of screen just so that they're able to see this information, like have a visual of this information, right? So this is the McKinney-Vento program. This is our regional director, Diane Ruggiero, and I am the bilingual parent liaison. So here's our information. This is for you guys to pause the video right, and give us a call if you find yourself in a homeless situation and have students.
Thank you very much, Massiel. I also want to remind everybody that the contact information for Massiel and all that information that she just sharing here in relation to contact, email, phone numbers, everything is going to be right below the video in the description box below. So that information is going to be there. In Massiel, we are almost going to our Q&A session. Any final thoughts that you would like to share with us before we conclude this presentation?
I guess so. How would I say this? Maybe I know there's a stigma to the word homelessness, and we're trying to shift that. That is what we're advocating for. If you find yourself displaced, if you find yourself in need, don't hesitate to ask for help. We are here. There's a lot of services available to you, and we're willing to work with you, whatever the case may be. Give us a call. We'll try to figure it out and move forward, because we want all of our students to succeed in their educational years. We want them to have a stability while they're receiving their education. And we also want the parent to succeed also. So we want the whole family to be successful and for us to have, educated communities.
And I just want to highlight a little bit in relation to Massiel. I just want to give you a big thank you because the first time I met Massiel, she went to the support group and explained everything they have, what is she doing, and services, resources. And I was very impressed that she took the time to come to the support group and talk about those services. So I really want to say thank you very much for doing that, because I know that it takes like an extra effort to spread the word and also to do all those outreaching that you're doing. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you. We're always here to help you, with anything that we may need. And I'm here to educate parents and students. So anywhere where you believe that my information or the knowledge that I've learned can be passed on, don't hesitate to invite us. I know a lot of people are not very comfortable with this, but houses of worship, those are like my main groups, because there's a lot of families that have a religious belief and they will gather at the churches. So if you like to invite us to do a presentation there, don't hesitate, give me a call or an email and we'll be there, in a jiffy. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I also want to remind everybody that Massiel is going to be doing this presentation, this specific presentation. We are going to do a lunch and learn in Spanish. So if any of you is working with a family who speaks Spanish, so we're going to have this presentation as well as in Spanish. With that, we are going to move to our Q&A session. And I just want to thank everybody for being here. And I'll see you next Thursday at 12. Thank you very much.